Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our talk today. Hopefully, we can keep on time. So today, we're going to talk to you about crafting business brilliance, leveraging Databricks SQL for next-gen applications. So this is a real-world example of how we used our enterprise data lake connected with Databricks to leverage the data there to be used on next-gen applications. So a little bit about myself. So I'm Mo Shalchi. I'm the Director of Software Engineering at Haleon. So I oversee quite a broad portfolio, which includes our web estate, shared capabilities, and integration. I'm from the United Kingdom, as you could probably tell from my accent. By background, I'm a software engineer. So I've been using Node.js since about 2014. I've previously worked at M&S and ASOS, where we moved them from monoliths to microservices to enable them to scale globally. Then I moved to Walgreens Boots Alliance. So I led the Boots.com transformation over from web-server commerce over to microservices. And then GSK, which recently divested its consumer healthcare business to create Haleon, which is where I am today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. I'm Wasim Ahmed, Manager of Field Engineering in Databricks, working with Mo and his team for the last 2 years. And working in the industry for nearly 20 years. Yeah, really looking forward to share our experiences with you and how we leveraging data and AI for Haleon success.
Brilliant. So what is Haleon and what do we do? So GSK previously had 3 parts to its business: pharma, vaccine, and consumer healthcare. Haleon is the consumer healthcare arm of what was part of GSK until July 2022. We own brands such as Sensodyne, Voltaren, Panadol, and Centrum. These brands are synonymous with health and well-being across the globe. We're a FTSE 20 company, and we operate in over 170 markets worldwide. So we make a difference to global health and well-being across the world. Our mission is clear: delivering better everyday health with humanity. This means we are committed to providing science-backed products which not only meet the needs of our consumers, but also enhances their well-being. Our extensive reach means we can meet a diverse set of needs across different cultures and communities. At Haleon, we're committed to addressing health accessibility, promoting self-care, and advancing preventative health at scale. This means happier and healthier lives for everybody. So what's our approach to 170 markets? Scaling globally is really, really tricky. Companies often struggle between what they do globally and what they do locally. And I've seen this in every single company that I've worked for. It's a common pitfall to assume that what's worked in one market will work in every other market. But that's very, very rarely the case. So I'll give you an example. In India, they have a concept of a Kirana store. A Kirana store is a local corner shop. Now, you would have assumed that these corner shops would disappear once Amazon came into the picture. But they didn't. They actually thrived by partnering with Amazon and adopting mobile payments and deliveries whilst keeping their human touch. And the same is the case in other parts of the world. So if you look in the Gulf, in the Middle East, they have a concept of Bakala stores, right, which is local grocery stores. They succeeded by partnering with Careem, an Uber company, to expand market share. You don't beat local relevance. You partner with it. Success doesn't come from rigid systems. It comes from systems that offer strong foundations and local flexibility, giving local marketeers the tools they need to meet the local consumer needs. And that's exactly the approach we take at Haleon. We think about it as motorways, or in the US, you'd say highways, right, and neighborhoods. So motorways are our strong foundations, right? These are the strong foundational capabilities that allow us to scale. So this is uniformity in our data, in our infrastructure, in our platforms. And on the flip side, local freedom. This is where we could tailor experiences, features, and integrations. These are what we think of as neighborhoods. So neighborhoods that define their own cultures, build their own streets, build their own neighborhoods. I always tell my team, without strong foundations, you lose control. Without local flexibility, you lose relevance. Success comes from those who can find the balance between the two, and that's exactly what we try to do with our data. So why is data and AI not just a nice to have, but absolutely essential to everything that we do at Haleon? These are the 7 key areas where data and AI are making a significant impact. The first is operational efficiency. AI is revolutionizing the way we do maintenance and downtime through predictive analytics. With AI-enabled monitoring, we could see the performance of our factories and warehouses. For the first time, because of data and AI, we're able to think about running our production facilities around the clock, right? Meeting the growing customer demand. The second one is net revenue management. AI-led dynamic pricing and promotion optimization is helping us maximize trade opportunities. Enhanced demand forecasting gives us more accurate planning. And market and retailer segmentation is improving our trade spend return on investment. And AI is also changing the way we're approaching innovation. For the first time, we're using GenAI in the areas of claims development, packaging, content creation, and content approval. We're also looking at how we can use it to analyze scientific and regulatory texts, which means we could speed up and make better R&D decisions. In the areas of supply chain and sustainability, right, we all have net zero targets. AI-optimized logistics helps us reduce our emissions. Scenario modeling for sourcing and fulfillment resilience. And we're using real-time data for stock management and replenishment. In the areas of commercial agility, we're making quicker decision-making through real-time dashboards. We can now see the performance of our SKUs, which SKUs are doing well, which ones not so well, and make quicker decisions and make quicker changes. And AI co-pilots have been rolled out to all sorts of different departments: marketing, finance, sales, and in my department, software engineering. Compliance and risk management. A lot of what we do at Haleon either needs to be GXP compliant or SOX compliant. AI enforces continual audit trails powered by machine learning. In our consumer and customer relations space, we're using AI-led detection for adverse events, and we're able to see risks before they happen. And finally, personalization and consumer experience. We've moved from a world where we had a one-size-fits-all approach to our consumers to actually giving them a tailored experience which is relevant for them and valuable for them. And at the heart of this, I know today we're talking about next-gen applications. At the heart of this and at the heart of our integration is our Speed platform. This is our services platform for enhanced enterprise digitization. This has 4 key components, all of which work together to streamline our digital operation. The first one is our API gateway. Our API gateway acts as a single entry point for all external and internal traffic. It manages authentication, rate limiting, logging, and load balancing. It enforces security practices such as OAuth and JWT. It ensures efficient routing to our backend services in a very, very secure way. The second part is our enterprise innovation platform, which is our Kubernetes platform, where we host containerized applications and services at scale. This provides orchestration, deployment, scaling, and lifecycle management. It gives us a DevOps culture with DevOps practices such as CI/CD and GitOps. Everything that we do in Haleon is infrastructure as code. The next one is our AI ML platform, powered by Databricks. And this is very, very key. It supports large-scale data processing and machine learning workflows. Offers collaborative notebooks for data science and engineers, and facilitates model training and MLOps. And the beauty of it is it integrates very, very seamlessly with Delta Lakes, data lakes, and various BI tools. For the first time, we could get access to data that we never had access before. in a very, very easy and streamlined way. And the last one is CPI, Cloud Platform Integration. Haleon is a CPG company. Our ERP system is central to everything that we do. Any order, any invoice, any modification all gets registered in our system of record, which is SAP, our ERP system. CPI connects SAP and non-SAP systems via pre-built and bespoke integration flows. It handles message transformation, routing, and protocol bridging. But most importantly is it's API first, meaning it connects very seamlessly with the rest of our ecosystem. So these are 4 key components: our API gateway for routing, our Kubernetes platform EIP for hosting our infrastructure at scale, our AI MLP platform powered by Databricks for large-scale data processing and machine learning capabilities, and CPI, which gives us operational efficiencies by bringing a legacy ERP system closer to the real world. Speed is central to our digital strategy. It allows us to innovate, grow in a very scalable way.
All right. So most of the organizations, they think of data as an expensive necessity rather than something that is useful to them. So lots of organizations have lots of trouble when they're trying to access the data and try to use that to drive the insights. But the leading and innovative organizations, they think differently. They believe that data is the most strategic asset that they hold, which grows over time and provides them unlimited possibilities. Haleon is one of those leading organizations who is leveraging that data in AI ecosystem to unlock a number of use cases. But when you are trying to access the data, there are a number of questions in the mind, right? For all the enterprises, that how can I find where my data is? How can my people access that? Is that reliable? And how can I quickly unlock the insight? Those and many other questions, Databricks is helping Haleon to solve. So we are working as a strategic partner with Haleon to work across different teams. We are working with the IT teams, creating those data foundations to provide them the capability of things like Unity Catalog, providing them Mosaic AI, where they have latest and greatest AI features. They have access to Databricks SQL serverless warehouses where their analysts can come and use their BI tools, and now teams like most software engineering teams who are going and creating applications. And we are also working with across the business as well, who now can access data from other parts of the business as well. So if you have global and local data lakes, you don't need to go and do the same processing in your side. You can just leverage Unity Catalog and access that in a governed and performant way. So we are working across those streams with Haleon, and we'll be talking about in the coming slides that what we have done exactly a little bit on the solution architecture side of the things as well.
Brilliant. So this is the part of the architecture that I wanted to share with you all. So in our customer and consumer relations space, we had our service agents, right? These guys would respond to tickets, complaints, queries. They used to actually resolve a case or a complaint. Each one would take around 26 days to resolve, right? And the reason why it would take 26 days is because they would log into 6, 7, maybe 10 different systems to be able to get the data they need to resolve a simple case. Now, the problem we had was a lot of our data was already in our data lake, right? So they didn't necessarily need to log into all these different systems. And they also have a single portal where they actually see all their tickets, but it just doesn't have all this information that's available in all the other systems. So we thought, actually, what if we work with Databricks and supplement the data in our enterprise data lake with real-time data so that actually we can then give out an endpoint that can give our service teams the data they need in one place. So this is what we did. The raw historical data tables were pushed into enterprise data lake on batch, right? This serves as the foundational layer of our data architecture. This is the historical push that happens in batch. Then for any changes or any modifications, the delta is pushed via SAP CPI, we spoke about before, passed through Apogee, and our SAP Data Microservice, which is hosted on our Enterprise Innovation Platform, into the Enterprise Data Lake. This means that all the latest data is available inside our Enterprise Data Lake, and it's reflective of all our latest business activity. For the order status, there's some internal logic inside SAP, which works out order status. So the user calls SAP whenever they need the order status, and this again gets saved inside Enterprise Data Lake, and we can detect when that's being changed. Databricks sits on top of our Enterprise Data Lake, in this case. It does the processing and analyzes the data. It then transforms the data to make it available. And the beauty of it, which is what we've seen in this case, is as our data volumes grow, Databricks just scales without any negative performance impact on the user.
Yeah. So I'll just take this. So a little bit about what exactly Haleon team did. It's not 101 on Databricks SQL, but just want to give you some insight exactly what they were doing. So Databricks SQL, serverless is a data warehouse on lakehouse. I assume everybody knows about it. And it gives you capabilities to connect with your favorite BI tools. Lots of people do that. You can also do data processing, data engineering, which in case of Haleon, they're doing as well. And now you can obviously leverage your external applications to connect with Databricks SQL serverless as well, which in case of Mo, they have done that as well. And it opens up lots of different use cases, right? You can tap into the data which is sitting in your lakehouse, and you can have your third-party applications go and start talking to that and start creating front-end applications. So obviously, there's like a rich ecosystem of connectivity, which Databricks have done lots of investment in. BI tools I've talked about. While this is like the most consumed pattern, lots of obviously BI tools connectivity is already there. We are improving it, bringing new ones out as well. I want to just focus a little bit on the bottom half, right? So these set of connectivity tools which are already available to you. If you want to connect through JDBC, ODBC, you can do that as well. Or if you want a first-party integration with Python, Node, Go, you can do that as well. And now the language agnostic way using the REST API, which Mo and their team used. So they use that mechanism. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the coming slide. So that gives you that agnostic way without worrying about what language you're using over HTTP, go and connect using the API. So if you remember that speed platform is API driven, right? Everything needs to work through API. So that was like obviously one of the main requirement when we were working with Mo's team, that it should connect with API. And with obviously the spirit to run these SQL queries over HTTP with SQL Warehouse and using like external party tools, they want to use that kind of capabilities, which I'm just talking about. So this SQL statement execution API that runs the SQL on the warehouse over REST. So it's just like a HTTP framework, right? So which allows third-party tools to go and connect with SQL Warehouse. Now you can connect custom applications of whatever language you want. It can be PHP, Python, JavaScript, whatever you feel like. And because the HTTP is a common denominator for the technology, for the people, anything within your organization, if you want to integrate with other applications and even user devices, you can easily do that using that. And also you can use this SQL statement API to create your own APIs. You can wrap them and create your own APIs, which can then be adapted for your different use cases and consuming microservices as well. So how does that work? It's quite straightforward. You have front-end applications where business users will provide some input, whatever the information they're looking for, that will be passed over to serverless SQL. And there are 3 endpoints which are provided. You can use that and you can send your query over that. If the result is very quick, the result comes back very quickly. If not, then you get a statement ID and you can go and pull the result later on as well. So this way, you can see that you can extract that insight very, very quickly using those third-party applications. You don't need to install any drivers. Your applications don't need to wait for like long connections. They can just fire the query and then go and pull the result later on. And the best part is that it supports the OAuth authentication, like so that the access is governed and in a secure way, so you're not like exposing anything. So now I'll request Mo to just show the demo of the application so that you can see how things were working on that.
How exciting, we have a demo. Brilliant, so we've pre-recorded a demo. So this is our Salesforce Service Cloud. So this is our one-stop shop for all our agents. They come in here, they have a look at all the tickets. You'll notice there was a customer order history. So that's the data that was showing in that area. This is our logging. So you could see that the calls made back happened in around 2 to 3 seconds. So this is essentially coming from directly from Databricks. So the total call time was 2 to 3 seconds. And we'll see a breakdown of where those 2 to 3 seconds were spent. So if you have a look on the top right, you could see 81% of that time was the processing time in Databricks. So Databricks took about 81% of the time. 12%, 13% was the actual API call, and then 6% was just background and internal processes. And you can see the query parameters at the bottom, which gets pushed to tell Databricks what query needs to be run in the background. So totally, in terms of non-functional requirements, we tend to look at API calls around 300 to 400 milliseconds. Obviously, with Databricks, it does add some time. These are the queries that run in Databricks. Notice the category items and the line items being returned. There's a whole bunch of data it's going through to be able to retrieve this data. So even at 2-3 seconds, it's pretty impressive what's happening. And Wasim has promised us they're still working to get this lower. But let's see how that goes. But for an internal system, that's pretty impressive. This is our API gateway. So notice we're going to just take the Haleon key, just so that we can fully track this in our SAP system. So I can show you what's going on. I wanted to make sure that this is very relevant. So this is actually our production system. We don't want to kind of go and show you a test system, which is why we'd have to gray a lot of our security keys out. So apologies, but you get the idea. So we're taking one of the headers, just so that we can show you, and then this is our SAP screen. So we can see that's the same key that we got from our API gateway. That's A006, which is our sales order API. That comes from our SAP system. Notice it's about 300 milliseconds, so this is the time. This is part of that 12, 13 seconds that we saw in our logging. So this is part of that API key, API call. And then notice all the keys there. And then at the bottom, if we scroll down, you could see, for example, that's the payload sizes over there. So in this case, it's 6 and 10 kilobytes, but that's essentially returned back our order status back to Enterprise Data Lake, and then we could see the full end-to-end flow, which is actually pretty good. So actually, for our internal system, actually getting that data back in 2 seconds actually worked really, really well for us. If you think about how they moved from 6, 7, 10 different systems, now they've got all the data in one system. Yes, it takes 2 seconds, but that meant that we were able to reduce our query time, responding to queries, from 26 days down to about 5 or 6 days, which is pretty impressive. So that's what 5x performance, 5x efficiency. And then there you can see at the end of the demo, it's that ticket is completely processed. So
yeah.
So yeah.
So so this is obviously just to put some more thoughts on that. The data sets are not small, right? So I'm sure like you're seeing the query times coming a couple of seconds and stuff. There are like thousands and hundreds and thousands, in some cases maybe millions of rows as well, right? So we have to see like how we can get that efficient performance out. Normally, the Databricks SQL serverless, it is packed with lots of optimizations already pre-built, and I'm sure like you'll be hearing more tomorrow about new stuff, new innovations that are coming out. lots of performance optimizations built in the system, but sometimes when you're working with legacy data, legacy tables, you have to apply some kind of optimizations so that you can make sure that the performance is optimal. So in this case, we use some combination of techniques, and we see that lots of our customers use those things as well. For example, we use liquid clustering in the case, which is like a modern data layout capability, which allows you to access data more efficiently, partition the data more efficiently. It's incremental clustering. It's used binary tree in the backend, so the data stays in the same sizes, so you have no data skew. In some cases, you use z-ordering as well, which is the way to co-locate the data, efficient skipping. Again, when you're accessing data in your queries, the performance is really fast. We use materialized views as well, very commonly used technique when you have aggregated data, so that data is pre-aggregated for your queries, and they go and fetch that. And with the power of enzyme, it can do incremental refresh, so that you don't have to do full computes, and that obviously reduce the time as well to serve the data to the users. And in one of the cases, we have to use this target file size as well. This is like advanced optimization. You can see that if like for SQL geeks here, if you see in the UI, you can see what data skipping is happening, and you can adjust this if you feel that that's not happening properly. So with the combination of these techniques, obviously we have done work with them and reduced the time to serve that. And as Mo mentioned, we are working with the team to make it even more optimized and provide better return times. So again, like I think I've talked about this already, they find lots of benefit by using this SQL statement APIs. There was no need to install the drivers. API is the way to go for speed platform, and they can do manipulation of the data, not only reading it, but other DML operations on that one as well. And the best thing was they can use OAuth authentication with asynchronous or synchronous execution modes, so which work really well for the speed platform overall.
So as we approach the end of our talk today, I wanted to take you through a little bit of our roadmap to success. So the next phase for us will focus on a streaming native AI-driven experience. So this will, how do we harness the true benefits of data and AI for efficiency and streamlining all our processes? So at the heart of this is a unified data layer. So this is bringing together batch, streaming, and AI workflows all onto a single platform. So how do we manage our data in a way where we put analytics and operational data all in one place, so we could get a comprehensive view of our entire operation? So that's the first one. The second one is real-time data processing. So streaming data ingestion and transformation, either with a Kafka or something similar. And this will allow us to start making decisions on the fly. Next one will be embedding AI as a core capability. Operationalizing machine learning for intelligent experiences, enhancing the customer experience, and streamlining all our workflows. So any internal processes which need it will be able to use it. And the last one will be making sure that we're a developer-first platform. So enabling developers to build data-powered apps so that we can innovate and grow, and they'll have access to all their data a lot quicker than they do at the moment. And then we're hoping that this will transform our organization to, one, mean that we are fit for the future, but two, means we can innovate a lot quicker than we do today, grow and scale very seamlessly.
Yeah. And as Databricks and Haleon I mentioned before, being a strategic partner, we are fully supporting Haleon to achieve that mission. So we are on the journey with them. We are working with them to make sure that the unified data layer is there, powered by Unity Catalog. We are working with them to allow them to access the GenAI capabilities with the Mosaic AI, with these model-serving endpoints, giving them the ability to access open source or proprietary LLMs. They are now looking to use Genie to access the structured data within the data lakes, because obviously they have lots of data in the lakes, and so they want to access that through Genie and incorporate that in their application through the API interface. And also looking in Databricks apps as well, which is like obviously the data apps capability. You can build those apps on the platform if you don't want to leverage the external apps. And you can see this is like obviously not the final architecture. We're still working with the team. We are bringing that real streaming capability, making sure that all the data is available to be used in a governed way. They have the capability as infrastructure as a code, so they don't have to wait for too long to access those capabilities, and everything in a governed way, compliant way, so that they can leverage that without having any challenges. And as it says, roadmap to success, right? So this is a roadmap, this is a journey, and we are fully supportive of that and part of that with Haleon. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Wasim, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.